Okay guys, I'll give about 5 minutes more and then we begin, okay? Just in case they forgot from today. to everybody. It's like everybody's going on holiday already, huh? Is it true? They go on holiday at this time? What year? Summer? Sorry? No. Well, after Tuesday, I go back to the Philippines, and I will see you guys after Japan. So enjoy your holiday before I forget. Yeah. So when do you guys leave? Some are leaving now. Yeah. So which means they are not in work for when? The whole week, right? But the holiday starts when exactly? Oh, Friday still. Which means, they asked for leave already. That's why. So, only Monday is work, then Wednesday, Thursday. So, only 3 days, so you ask for leave, right? Anyway. Until Monday, because the Sunday is holiday. Wow, that's a long, nice. Okay, cool. Okay, nice for the holiday. So, anyway, since we're here, let's discuss a number of things. The last part of chapter 11, there's one thing we're missing, correct? So we finish that. And we are going to talk about inventory today. Okay? Now, remember, in the inventory today, which we'll talk about here. Okay, so maybe I should put another column, another slide. Okay. So, what we're going to do, our agenda today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to we finish one more. When we talk about audit procedures, you remember we already talked about the general procedure, correct? Okay. And then we talk about procedures if you're using sampling. You remember that? So we talk about general substantive procedures. What did we talk about in the substantive procedures? We said there are two things, correct? There are only two things. What is that? It can be analytical procedures, and then the other ones are called test of details. Alright? So, in our mnemonic code, what did we say? In our mnemonic code, we said that this is A, correct? Which is for analytical. The rest are what? Okay, so remember, this is very important. I will tell you why mnemonic code is important in a moment. So, first, inquiry. Then you can do inspection. Then you can do observation. Okay. So, sorry, what was A again? Yes, analytical procedure. I am being an accountant, isn't it? An accountant has to be detailed and everything correct, right? Yeah, that's how we are. For everything, including underline and question mark. You remember that? You know that? That is the mark of accountants, because we are trained that way, correct? Okay? So even the accounting system has to be in order, has to be numbered, has to be charted, has to be correct. That is how we're trained. And that is why employers like accountants. Not only as an accounting work, you understand? Even if it's not accounting work, they will hire an accountant. Why? Because an accountant is methodical in the approach. Okay? But that is one of the nicest things about our profession, actually. Okay? So recalculation, confirmation, and re-performance. Correct. Okay, so those are the test of details, right? And then when we also talked about, what else did we talk about? We also talked about how to get something, correct? Okay, so we talked about that. What else did we talk about? We also talked about for? Computer assisted audit techniques. Right? And this, we said, involves two things. What are the two things that it involves? The audit software and the what? And the test data. Okay. Anything else that we need to talk we haven't talked about here? So today, what we're going to talk about in chapter 11 is the last part, which is, oh sorry, there's one more we talk about, sorry. How to audit what? Audit of accounting estimates. You remember? Yes? What do you do when you have accounting estimates? Right? Okay, very important. So today, we're going to talk about still another one. What about if you want to use the work of what? Use the work of others. And who are the others? Okay? Who are the others? We said already, remember before, we can use the work of internal who? Internal auditors, correct. And also we also sometimes discuss if we use what? Experts. And sometimes the company use other organizations. For example, they outsource accounting, correct? So how do we use that work of that outsourced service? Okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, the second part of our discussion today is what? We are going to talk about everything about inventory. Okay, what do I mean by everything? Number one, we are going to talk about test of controls. Which chapter we have to look here? We have to look at chapter 10. You understand? Okay. And then, what do we need to look for? Aside from test of controls. The other thing, we need to look at substantive procedures. Which chapter will that be? This one will be in chapter 13. Okay? Chapter 13. Now remember, when we talk about chapter 10, test of controls, we did not finish. Remember? We talk about sales, we talk about purchases, then we're supposed to come to inventory. But I want to put it together. Okay? I want to, so you can distinguish between test of controls and substantive procedures. Okay? When it comes to inventory. Alright? So, let us do the first thing today first. What is that? We're going to open our notes to chapter what? What chapter is this? Procedure is chapter. Procedures is chapter 11. Chapter 11. So you're going to look for me chapter 11. Yeah? And we're going to look at using the work of others. Okay? Using the work of others. If you can find that, that will be great. Alright? Did you find what we need? Who are others? And why do we want to use the work of others? Okay? As a what? We want to use the work of others as an evidence. Very good. Okay? Now remember that. We want to use the work of others as evidence. So which means the same criteria that we use for getting our own evidence, we have to use the same criteria on what others to bear. Okay? So before we go further, let's talk about who are others. Okay? Others can be an expert that the auditor hires. That's what it means by auditor's expert. Okay? You find it already? Okay, go find it. What page? Somebody else? Okay. So everybody on the page? Yes. Alright, good. By the way, we're almost at the end of our book, huh? Okay. Which means it's time for us to do almost time to do a final summary, huh? Okay, so how much of that do you remember? That's a big story, but don't worry. We will try and make sure that we get to that, okay? Alright. Okay, here we go. An auditor's expert is when an auditor himself would like to get an expert to help them obtain the evidence. Do you understand? So somebody who is having an expertise on a particular field, not necessarily in auditing, not necessarily in accounting. It can be someone who could help you, assess, for example, inventory valuation. Someone who can help, for example, in assessing processes. Okay? So somebody who is other than an expert in audit or accounting. Now, okay, who can be? It can be somebody from within an organization. You understand? It's the same firm, but maybe another partner. For example, it can be that I was asked to audit an airline industry, you understand? But it's my first time to audit an airline. But there is a partner who has been auditing an airline from a long time ago, for a long time. So that particular partner within the firm, I can actually get them to be an expert to help me in my audit. You understand? Okay. So again, an auditor's expert can be somebody who is from the same audit firm. Or it can be from external. You hire from another company, you understand? Maybe a valuation company, an actuary, somebody who helps in pension, because there are more details in pension. Somebody who has expertise on, for example, you are evaluating or auditing a company who has gold or gems in finance, right? Okay. So as auditors, we don't know how to value the inventory. How do you check? Remember, you do an inventory check, right? Physical inventory. But if you don't know how to value a gem, you have to get an expert. Or somebody who's dealing with agriculture. Okay? Because you may not know how rubber plants, rubber plantation. These are agricultural companies. We have a lot of them here in Cambodia, right? Okay? Companies who are into rubber plantation. Alright, so we need to get an expert. And that is an external, okay? An external expert who is hired by the auditor. Now, it can also be a management expert. Again, who is that expert? That management expert. Look. You can hear all my garbage under the table. Okay. Alright, so that expert is actually hired by your client. Okay? Now, It can be in the field of, other than the field of accounting. For example, it can be also an entity who is hired to do accounting for the company. Yeah? We know that companies can outsource the preparation of the financial statements. Okay? They can also hire someone to give valuation to their assets. Okay? Or to their investments. Right? So these are some of others when we talk about others. Okay? So these are examples here. Valuation of land and building, determination of inventory quantity. Sometimes it's about legal opinion. Okay, especially if the company is under disputes of several kinds, dispute with the law, dispute with the tax department, dispute with the registration committee, dispute this. So they can hire someone to advise them on accounting implication of all these litigations. Okay, so these are examples of others. Now, all right. So the competence, the capability and objectivity of the auditor's experts must be considered by the auditor. Okay? So how do you check competence? How do we check competence? What does it refer to? Competence refers to the ability, the knowledge and skill of that expert, right? Okay? So you need to look and verify who is this expert, from which field, are they registered, okay, in their own field, okay, are they well known, okay. So you look at their capabilities, you look at how they have been, how many clients they have, who are their clients, so you know if they are good at their work, okay. And of course you need to check their objectivity, okay. Now, as an auditor's expert, you need to agree in writing the scope of nature and scope of their work. What are their responsibilities? What should they deliver? When should they deliver what you need? Okay? And how often do you communicate with each other as an auditor? And of course, last but not the least, confidentiality. Okay? So all this is written in an agreement with your expert. Now remember, this is an auditor's expert. The auditor has hired this particular expert. Okay? So all these must be in writing. Okay? Now, right? So remember, how do we evaluate the work? Because the work is going to be our evidence. The work of this expert is going to be our evidence. So, we need to look at relevance, reasonableness, and consistency of the work as an audit evidence. Okay? We need to look and compare it with assumptions. Okay? Or we need to look if it's relevant, complete in terms of, okay, is your notes correctly spelled? Because my letters are all separated from each other. Yours are okay? Oh, it's the computer. Again, source data. Okay, so again, let's take a look. Okay, number one, it's reasonable, it's relevant, it's consistent with what? Other audit evidence. Number two, against assumptions and methods, and against any source data. Okay, so these are what you need to compare with to see if, okay, their work is, if we can use their work. Now, why is it called comparison? Because really, that is why you hire them, because you're not expert in that subject. You understand? So you cannot say, check their work. If you're going to check their work, you should have done it yourself. Why would you hire them in the first place? because you are not an expert on that field. But how do you know if their work is okay? You have to have a reference point. You understand? You have to have a comparison point, okay, to make sure that that work is within your understanding. So what are your points of reference? Your point of reference is your other evidence. Does it match or is it contrary? You understand? To see if it makes sense. Huh? So you have a comparison point. You have a lighthouse to compare with. You look at assumptions. What assumptions did you make at the beginning? Okay? Does it match the assumptions? And why does it not? Okay? Or does the results match their source information? Okay? That's the only thing you can see if their work is reasonable. Right? Because you don't have, how can you say, for example, I will check the geologist's way of calculating the value of the gems in Thailand. That is why you hire them, because they're the ones who are expert in finding out the value. Correct? So if you are now going to check his work, which means it makes you an expert too. But you're not an expert, and that's why you hire them. So you always compare their work against a certain parameter. Okay? Outside their work, because they're the ones who produce it. Compare it to what you understand. Okay? And that is how you actually, that is your audit procedure actually. Okay? That is your audit procedure when you are working with the work of the expert that you hire. Now remember, that expert you hire can be internal, can be external to the audit firm. Okay? Now, one of the things you can rely on is the work of the internal auditors. Now, the internal auditors are most of the time employees of the company, correct? Yes. So, remember that. So, what you need to look at if you want to use their work is the same thing is the same assessment you will do if you're doing it yourself. Okay? So if you're doing it yourself, what do you do when we audit? We want to see if you are independent. Yes? We want to see if we know about the subject matter. So what are we talking about? Objectivity, competence, you understand? Knowledge and ability and our experience on the subject matter. And what procedures did we do? So you also need to check. These internal auditors, did they use a systematic and disciplined set of procedures when they got their evidence? Okay? So we have to see the processes that they've gone through. If the same processes would have been done by us, and you accept it, then you can use their work as an evidence. Do you understand? But you would ask me, but aren't they employees? They're not really objective, right? Yes. They're not as objective as us, but they're semi-objective, in other words, right? Especially if the company structure separates executive versus non-executive. Okay? Now, if you did all this work, and you did all this assessment, and you do not accept how they done it, will you use it? Will you use the work? No, do it yourself. Apply your own procedure. Do you understand? You cannot rely on the work. You got it? So, if any of this area, objectivity, competence, and systematic approach, this is not enough, that's what it means by lacking, then do not use the work. Understood, everybody? It's clear now. Okay, now, let's talk about how do we measure objectivity in an internal audit. Because this is the biggest issue, right? Okay. So how do we know they're objective? Number one, okay. Who determines their function? Who do they report to? Yeah, executive versus non-executive. Are they restrained or constrained to do certain procedure? Which means their scope of work is limited. If their scope of work is limited, they are not objective. Okay? Somebody tells them not to do this, don't go this, don't open this, don't discuss this, don't review this. Okay? So if management gives these kinds of restrictions, they are not objective. Okay? Right? Who hires the internal auditors? Okay? Is it the executive or non-executive branch? If it's the executive branch, I doubt about their objectivity. Do you understand? Okay? Because if you hire me, I am afraid to investigate anything I found anomalies about you, correct? Because I may lose my job. So there goes objectivity. There is no objectivity. Okay? Where the management acts on recommendations. Okay? So if management don't believe in your work and don't accept it, then really there's no objectivity there. Okay? Alright? And internal auditors, of course, we rely more on them if they are a member of a professional body. But what did we say about internal auditors? Do you have to have an ACCA? No, but they have their own professional body. There's an internal auditors association as well. You understand? But it doesn't have to be an ACCA. It can be somebody else. But if they have members of professional bodies, that would be much better. Okay? How about checking for competence? Okay? Competence means we need to look at, okay, do they have proper resources available to them? Are they trained? And are they good at it? That's what it means by proficiency, yeah? Okay. Alright, is there a certain policy of hiring and training them? Okay, so remember, we're talking about competence. Competence involves knowledge and skill. Okay, not only knowledge, but ability to apply what they know. Okay? And they have information on how to prepare financial reports. Okay? So then we want that. Because remember, internal auditors doesn't have to be accountants. It can be somebody else, right? Okay? So if they have knowledge on how to prepare financial statements, that would be best. That would be best. Okay? As a measurement of competence. Okay? So objectivity, competence, there are three things, right? I told you. Objectivity. Alright? So again, let's see. Let's go back. Objectivity, competence, and the third is what? Systematic and disciplined approach. Okay, so how do we check if they're systematic, if they're disciplined in their approach? Okay, of course, we have to see, do they plan? Is somebody supervising them? After they've done the job, is it properly reviewed? If everything is documented, then it is systematic, right? Okay. Is there proper quality control procedures? Okay, to monitor if the work they do is sufficient. Okay, and as an internal audit, do they have their own audit manual, their work programs, and documentation processes? Okay, so if that is in place, we know that every approach they do, whether it's in financial audits, procurement audits, IT audit, whatever it is, that is done in a methodical, systematic, and disciplined approach. Okay? Because if that's in order, then I would trust their work more. Okay? So if they're objective, I'll trust their work. If they are competent, I will trust their work. If they are disciplined and methodical in their work, I will trust their work. Therefore, can I use their work as my evidence? The answer is yes. Okay? So that is how you would actually, those are the procedures you would do to be able to assess if you can accept their work as your evidence. Okay? Alright. Another thing when we talk about others is when the client uses what we call a service organization. Who is that? This is another party. This is neither the auditor nor the client, But the client hires another party to do what? Okay? To prepare, for example, financial statements. Okay? Alright, so who is the user entity? Okay? The user entity is your client. The client who uses a service organization. Okay? Now, user auditor. Okay, user auditor is the auditor who audits and reports on the financial statement of the user, which is you, your external auditor. Okay, who is the user entity is your client. Okay, so this is your client. Who is the service auditor? Okay, he is the auditor who, at the request of the service organization, provides an assurance report on the controls of the service organization. So who is that? Service auditor. Okay, so if you have a service organization, they have their own auditor, correct? Okay, so you would actually get the service auditor to tell you, the external auditor, if the service auditor have a proper set of financial statements. Okay, they have proper internal control systems. You understand? To be able to do the job correctly. So who are all these? Okay, so let's identify them. Okay, so all right. So let us take a look at this so we understand them. Alright, so we have, so if this is your client, so this is your client, yes? And this is the external auditors. Okay? Now your client uses a service organization. Let's say to prepare financial statements, correct? Okay. So your so who is your, so service organization is one, user entity, who's the user entity? So your user entity is your client. User auditor. So this is your user, you are the one, correct? And who is the service auditor? Service auditor is the one who audits the what? The service organization. Now why is it important for us, the service auditor? Because the service auditor can tell us what? If, right? And report on the adequacy of the controls of the service organization. Do you understand? Why? Because remember, we're going to use the work of the service organization. Do you understand? Okay? Or audit that. So it's very important. Okay. Now, what does the service organizations do? Okay, we already said sometimes they maintain what? They maintain the accounting records. Sometimes you outsource payroll, or you outsource credit control, or you outsource data information relevant to financial reporting. Okay, financial reporting, just data entry. Okay, so these are some of the services that a service organization can do. So if you look, most of this information are important for financial reporting. You understand? Okay, financial reporting. Okay, so where service organizations are relevant to the financial statements, these are the things that the auditor must do. Okay, they must understand the nature of the service. Okay, For example, they must know if the work is related to financial statements, if, okay, includes, okay, any internal control procedures. Okay? They must see, are the transactions that are processed by the service organization, are they material? Why? If there is an error in how they process, it will be material to the financial statement. Okay? So, nature of service, okay, especially if it has to do with internal control, nature and materiality of the transactions, okay, the degree of interaction between the client and the service organization, okay, because if there is constant communication, you can rely on their work, okay, because remember, this service organization is separate from your audit firm. Your clients, okay? So they must have constant communication to make sure there are lesser errors, okay? Nature of the relationship. In other words, is this service organization independent of your client? It's very important, okay? Very important. So you need to look at their contract. What is their contract? Who are they? Okay, because you need to look at what are their terms, alright? Because for example, in the contract, it says that their fee is based on profit. Now, do you think that is independent? You understand? So you need to look at contractual terms, you need to look at independent. Right? So, many things to remember here. Huh? Okay? Now, if you use the work of others, when you actually give the report, your auditor's report, do you have to mention that the information came from this third party? Answer. What is the word? What is it? As an external auditor, when I will now accept the work of others, should I state in my auditor's report that this information came from this third party? Yes or no? Why? I already made my assessment. I'm going to use the report. Yeah? Cannot make reference. Because if you make reference to that this is prepared, it means that you are foregoing responsibility. You're putting the responsibility back to the expert that you used. You understand? That is why you do audit procedure on the work of others. Because you will accept it as if it is yours. Which means, once you do that, and you've done all the procedures I told you to do, it means that you accept their work, and therefore it's like yours. You cannot make mention that this is coming from A and B professionals. Because if you mention that, which means you are washing your hands and saying, no, if there's anything mistake, go to A and B professionals. Understand? It cannot be, right? Once you do the audit, the audit of that expert's work, it's as if it's yours. You cannot, what's the word here? External auditor cannot make reference to the work done by the expert, done by the internal auditor, or any service auditor. In your auditor's report, you cannot make mention of any one of them. Okay? Alright? Because once you mention, as I said, you are not accepting responsibility for their work. Now, if you're not accepting the responsibility, do it yourself. You understand? Okay? So again, big circle. You cannot. Okay? The auditor's report is your sole responsibility. You, as an external auditor, you cannot pass on and say, this part came from this part came from this. You are not a coordinator. You are an external auditor. You understand? Okay? And that is why there are procedures to do when you use the work of others. If you find that that work is not sufficient to your level of your assessment, do not use it. Okay, do not use it. Okay, because then you have to find another way to get the evidence. Okay, find another way to get the evidence. All right, so what you need to do, okay, general procedures is that, of course, general procedures when you do works of others, many things, but we already talked about one. Number one, you need to do risk assessment procedures. In other words, what are the risks you are looking at? Your risk that, number one, the others, whoever the other is not one. What's the number one on your list? They are not objective. Okay? So, one of the risks is that that service organization is not objective, is not independent. Independent from whom? From the client first and foremost, right? Should it not be independent of you also? Yes, it should be independent of you as an external auditor, right? Because remember, you have an audit expert. You're supposed to hire an audit expert, correct? As well? So it should be also independent of you. Alright, so these are some of the risks. What's another risk? Another risk is that your experts, or the management experts, or the internal auditors are not competent. When they're not competent, which means their work is not of good quality. Yes? Which means it's not sufficient, it's not appropriate. Okay? Now, alright? Okay? Any estimates, anything, assumptions, okay? You must understand how management identifies it in relation to the work of others. Okay? Alright? So, this could also be included there. Alright? So, work of others, remember? Okay, so again, there's a document that you can look in terms of using an expert. Alright? So who are the experts? Can we remind ourselves? Who are the experts? Can be an auditor's expert, hired by the auditor, or a management expert, hired by the management. Okay? Others, work of others, can be the expert, can be internal auditors, can be, the third kind is a service organization. Alright? Good. So, we finished with that. So now, we're going to go to inventory. We're going to talk about inventory. Okay? So, what did we say? For the rest who just walked in a minute ago, we said at the beginning of our chapter, we said when we talk about, in our agenda, when we talk about inventory, there are two parts to our inventory. So we finished the work of others. Inventory, test of the goals, which is in chapter 10, and substantive procedure, which is in chapter 13. So, if you please, can you open your notes to chapter 10. Where is my chapter 10? And look for the part that says inventory. Yes. So much part. All right. Now, when you do inventory, when you do the audit, in other words, when you get audit evidence of inventory, the amount of audit procedure you do depends on how strong or weak are the controls in the inventory. So, in terms of, approach number one, if the company uses perpetual inventory, you can rely on their inventory controls if the controls are strong. So if controls are strong, which means whatever is recorded in their financial statements, you can rely on it. Yes? What is perpetual inventory? What does it mean? Anybody? So it has something to do what? To do with what? When you say perpetual inventory, it has something to do with how they what? How the company controls the movement of the inventory, correct? When I say perpetual inventory, means they have a control record. Sorry, are you looking for the page? It's chapter 10, page. By Roy Boon. Is that correct? By Roy Boon. I'm just practicing my numbers. Bear with me. Alright, so I'm practicing my number because the driver, I have to tell them, plow by all bones, I have to say where the street to go, right? Okay, so I need to practice. The street in Bangkok is by 301, 51, 322, right? I have to say, otherwise I go to, maybe they take me to Kampung Chana. Very careful. Alright, so you got it now? Clear? So again, let's go back. Perpetual inventory has something to do on how your client controls the movement of their stock, correct? So, which means, when you say perpetual record, means that whenever there's in, they record and a balance is taken. So you have an inventory record, correct? And whenever there is sale or usage of inventory, then it's taken and out, and then a balance is kept, right? So that is perpetual. Which means, if their controls are good, those records must be reliable or not reliable? Reliable. Which means I can rely on it as in terms of the value of the inventory there, right? So their controls is good, therefore, then, if that's good, then I can only do a smaller substantive test. Approach number two. Inventory count near the year end and adjusted by perpetual inventory only if controls are strong. In other words, if the controls are strong, can I do inventory count even before the year end? Yes. Why? Again. Are you with me or you're not with me? You know that inventory counts usually are done when? Yes. At year end, exactly, right? But remember, we have what we call interim audit. We have the year-end audit and after the year-end final audit, correct? Yeah. So can I do inventory count even before the year-end? Yes. If the company has very good controls, I can do the count even end of November. You understand? Not end of December. And then what do? I can rely on the records for any additions and deductions during December. And I can rely on the balance at the end. Correct? You understand? Okay. So I can do that also. So, in other words, if I am going to do the test, so if the company has very good controls, they can do that. Okay? Now, or you can do approach number 3. Do a year-end count and use that approach, or in other words, the year-end count means that if the client does a year-end count, you will attend that count and use that not only as a test of control, but at the same time a substantive procedure. Can we do that? Can we do one procedure at the same time it is a test of control and at the same time you get evidence for your audit? Answer? Yes. Yes. Especially this one. You cannot do twice count, right? You cannot ask them to do the test twice. Okay? So yes. Okay? So the best is of course to do inventory count. Now, wait a minute. Tell me, when I'm talking about test of controls, who is doing the count? Who is doing the count? The client. It's the client's job to do an inventory count. It is an internal control. You agree with me? Yes? Okay? So it is an internal control. So what you do is actually, what do you do when they do inventory count? Yeah, you go and observe. Okay? So you go and observe. Number one, you observe how they're doing the count, correct? So that is testing the control. Because remember, an inventory count has certain procedure to follow before, during, after the count. So you have to see if they're following the process, right? Now, how does it become a substantive test? What can you do to do a substantive test? You have to what? Yes, you're observing already. Okay, so you recount. You re-perform the count, yes? So it's not only observation. Observation is how you're going to actually test the controls, right? Now, I want to re-perform and count some of the items, okay, myself. In other words, the team of the client does the count. I will recount on my own. I will re-perform the count to satisfy myself, yes? What else do I do? Okay? Alright, so we'll talk about this later on when we talk about substantive procedure. Okay? So in the meantime, what is my first control objective? Okay? To check or test the controls. Remember, perpetual inventory means movement. In, out. In, out. I will say that process that their controls are sufficient, their controls are strong, if every movement is authorized and is recorded. Okay? So that is the objective of the control. So how does the company make sure that everything is authorized and recorded? Okay? So what do they do? Number one, what are the documents that they use for recording in and recording out? So, what is GRN? Goods Received Note. What is GVN? Good. What? I heard some words. What is the D? The delivery, yeah? Okay, can be. Same meaning, isn't it? Delivery and dispatch. Okay? Goods dispatch notes, goods delivery notes, okay? If you want to use that. So these ones are pre-numbered. Why do you pre-number them? Remember, you want everything to be recorded, right? You want everything of that to be actually authorized. Now, if you want it authorized, you must make sure there is segregation of duties. And you need to look at, we'll talk about test in a moment. Control is reconciliation of inventory with the general ledger. Okay? It means that whatever is movement, it will match with the general ledger because the general ledger will have the in purchases and out the sales. In purchases, out the sales. So it should match, correct? Now, how do you test? Here comes the auditor. What documents will you actually review? You will actually review a sample of the GVN and the GRN. What are you looking for? If you're going to review the documents, what are you looking for? You're looking for authorization. Okay? You will also take a sample of the reconciliations performed. Yeah? You'll also review a summary of the GDN and the GRN. What are you looking for? The summary of GRN and GDN. Remember, they are pre-numbered. What are you looking for? If there are what? Missing numbers, correct? Okay? Because if there are missing numbers, which means not all of the movements are reported. So you have to investigate where they are. Okay? What happened to them? Okay? And then of course, you have to see that there is segregation of duties. What duties do you want to segregate? What is the segregation when it comes to inventory? So, is the storeman, now the storeman is the one who handles physically the goods, right? Can he authorize the movement of goods? No. He's only going to act based on authorized documents, correct? You understand? Can the stock ledger clerk, now, do you understand the stock ledger clerk? Is the stock ledger clerk and the storeman one the same person? No. The storeman handles them physically, correct? Who is the stock ledger clerk? The one who keeps the stock records, correct? Okay? So they should not be the same person, right? Okay, because one of them is the one recording. You remember the 4 things that we said should separate? What are the 4? 4 things. Tell me, that should separate in a segregation of duty. Authorization is one. Recording is another, correct? What's the third? Custody. And the 4th? Reconcile, the reconciliation. So in the warehouse, in the inventory, who are these 4? Movements of in and out should be a manager, correct? Recording. Stock ledger clerk, okay, or accountant is separate. If they are selling and dispatching and receiving purchases, and the third, custody. Who has custody? The storeman who handles physical goods. Okay, and the reconciliation happens when they make the inventory count at the end, okay, or whatever type of count they do. You understand? So, observation and evaluation of proper segregation of duties. Okay, that's one. Right? Now, what is another test? Okay? In terms of occurrence, we want in inventory, we want to make sure that the inventory in the statement of financial position physically exists. Now, how do we make sure that it physically exists? Okay? Means it is there. So what controls you should need to put in place? Okay? Physical control. Which means nobody can move the goods unless it goes through a locked door, right? What else? Security guard? What else is a physical control? Authorized, so you have paper, right? You have a paper that has an authorization that you can either get or bring in or return items in the store. Okay? Right? Responsibility is different from custodianship and record. Custodianship means somebody who's handling it, correct? Okay, we talked about that already. And inventory is counted regularly. Remember, you want to make sure that the amount of inventory you have in the financial statement actually exists. Okay? So it's physically there. How do you test? How do you test physical safeguards? You can observe, correct? You can take a look. You can check. Okay? Do they have the lock? Do they have a security guard? Or do they have the security guard only on the day? The night, nobody's there. Yeah? So you need to observe that, correct? Okay. Alright. Policies and procedures in place, okay, on how movement is done. Okay? Review procedures on the counting of inventory and attend the inventory count. Make sense? Yeah? Alright. So all that that is your test of controls. Now, how about completeness? Okay? Completeness means any purchases, any sales, which represents the what is the word? Goods that come in and goods that leave are all recorded, correct? Okay, that's what you do. Now, what are the controls in place that these are done? Okay? Now, all purchases and sales are recorded in the accounting system. Okay? So, anything, whether the inventory is with the client's premises or outside the client's premises, means it is with third party. Now, how can the inventory be with a third party? Okay? Sometimes, some goods are sent to the customer, to your agent, correct? To the client's agent, but it's not yet sold. It is on consignment. What does that mean? Consignment means what? It's like impress cash, correct? Means what? It becomes only a sale when the client's third party, the agent, sells it, correct? Yeah. So in the meantime, if it's not sold, under whose inventory should it belong to? Your client or your customer? The client still. So it should be, there are procedures in place for consignment to make sure it is included in the accounting system. Okay? So another control would be reconciling what is in the accounting records with the physical inventory. Now, how do you test? Now you test the control. You review the procedure. You look at how consignments are treated and controlled and accounted for. Okay? So you review the process. You review the reconciliations between the records and the physical inventory. Remember, your test of controls will be based on what are the controls. Okay? Now, reminder. How do we know what controls should be in place? What is your mnemonic code, you said? What are your mnemonic code? What is your mnemonic code to give you an indication what are the controls? You remember Pacamax? Pacamax is the controls, right? What is your test? How do I remember what test to use? It can also be AEIOU, correct? I can inquire, I can inspect, correct? I can review documents, right? Okay? Right. Walk through, don't forget. I can do walk through, right? So these are some of your review. Right. Now, let's talk about rights and obligations. To ensure that inventory records include items that belong to the entity. Remember, the entity here means your client, okay? Now, what controls should be in place? Okay? So again, similar to this one here. Procedures to include what? Items that are Items that are held with third parties. Okay? Now, if these goods are yours, it should be included in your inventory, correct? If the goods, again, not yours, your client, what if your client has some goods that is held in consignment, but it's for somebody else who's selling? It should be included in the inventory or excluded? So anything that is held on consignment should be excluded. Anything that you send out to the third party on consignment should be included. Do you understand? Okay? So consignment can be two ways. Consignment in terms of your client is the one who is consigning out. Means that they send the goods to somebody else and you're supposed to sell it, correct? Yeah? But if he's not sold it yet, it should be included in the inventory. Okay? Now, if your client also received goods on consignment, somebody is selling it, some other supplier is selling it, sent to you on consignment means if it's not sold, it should be what? Should not be included in your inventory. Not included. You understand? Because now you are the consignee. You understand the difference between a consignor and a consignee? Goodness gracious. Okay? Right? So it's two-way, it can be used. Your client sent out goods, but it's not yet sold, so it should be included. Or the client receives goods to sell, but it's not yet sold, it should not be in their inventory because it doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the supplier. You got it? How do you test? You review how the entity handles consignment inventory, whether it's consignment in or consignment out. Okay? Now, how about accuracy? Okay, so remember, companies would like to make sure that whatever is considered as inventory, the quantities taken are accurate. Okay, so how do they do this? This is where they do a periodic or annual inventory count. Okay? And compare the count versus the perpetual inventory record. Okay, so you know what it means by perpetual, huh? So how do we test? What do? We observe. We observe the physical count. We do procedures such as re-performance, recounting. Okay? Looking at how they would address any deficiencies or any what is deficiency? It's deficiency, right? Which means there is a difference between the count and the count and the records. Okay, so we need to see how they adjust that. So remember, we are testing controls. Testing controls. Okay. All right. How about valuation? The inventory value should be lower of cost or net realizable value. How is it decided? So management can do, what control should be placed? They should actually make sure that they use standard costs. That will help them. Okay? Or they should actually review cost accumulation and variance reports to make sure that, okay, that the valuation of their inventory, okay, is still, okay, at, okay, the valuation, the comparison of cost in net realizable value is always done. Okay? And that is why in your inventory you remove slow-moving, obsolete, and excess inventory. Why? If these are present, what happens to the net realizable value of your inventory? It will go down, correct? Yes? So which means you have to report it as net of lower of these two. Normally, inventory is recorded as what? At the cost, right? At cost. The price report part is that, correct? Is that what it means? Yeah? So remember, it's supposed to be lower of cost or net realizable value. What's net realizable value? It's your selling price, correct? Net realizable value is the selling price of the item. So in a normal situation, your cost is always lower than NRV, correct? Okay? Now, when does it become the other way around? When does NRV become lower than cost? Can NRV be lower than cost? Yes, when? Obsolete, correct? What else? Damage. For example, there is a flood, yeah, and all your inventory is in the flood. Can it still be saleable? It's already damaged. So what happens to its net realizable value? And it's very small now. You can actually almost throw it away, right? Yeah. So when that happens, the company must ensure that they record it at net realizable value, which is lower than cost. So make sure all the time that they review the value of the type and condition of the inventory. And that is why during inventory counts, you have to make sure you note also what is damaged, what is obsolete, what is deteriorated, what is slow moving. Okay? Slow moving also becomes the net realizable value can be very low, right? Okay, sometimes the slow moving ones are the ones that you sell at big discounts, right? So what happens if you give big discounts? 70% off. What happens to the NRV? NRV can be lower than cost, right? So we need to revalue the assets, the inventory. So these controls must be in place. How do you test? Okay? So you need to review the procedure on the standard costing that is done by management. Inspect your variance reports and how they actually come about and see if there is a need to review and how does the management change, okay, by the valuation in the records. Okay? And of course, discuss with management on how they revalue their inventory to be matching with what the IFRS requests. Alright? All purchases and sales are recorded in the correct accounting period. What do we call that? Proper cutoff. So, how do we make sure? How does company make sure that there is proper cutoff? Okay, there are two things, right? There are two documents. There are two flows: inflow and outflow. So the inflow, the document that controls that is what? The outflow, the document that controls that is what? GBN, correct? So, the controls that must be in place is that this both must be recorded in the same period of the date of the receipt and the date of the dispatch to ensure that there is proper cutoff. That is what happens to companies. They have a record of what is dispatched that day, and it has to be recorded. Record of what is received that day, and it has to be recorded. And there must be a reconciliation again between the inventory records and the general ledger. So how do you test this? Well, you inspect the documentation. You look at the cut-off date, the date, and when it's recorded. Okay? So towards the year end. What else can you do? Review the reconciliations done. Okay? Alright. Inventory transactions and balances are identified and classified in the financial statements. Now, why do we say that? Remember, in the inventory is not only finished goods. What else is in the inventory? Materials and work in progress. So there's raw materials, there is work in progress, and there's finished goods. So they must be classified in the correct area. You understand? If it's in work in progress, so it should be out of the raw materials. Okay, that's what it means here. Okay? So you need, how do you test? You test how the company procedures and documentation on the movement from raw materials to work in progress to finished goods, especially in a manufacturing company. Okay? Ensure disclosures in the classification and valuation are sufficient. So the finance director has to oversee the disclosure in the notes to the financial statement. What is our test as an auditor? Okay, we look at and get the evidence if this kind of review is done by the finance director. It can be observed, or you can review a document, making sure that the finance director reviews and signs off the notes to the financial statement. Okay, so you actually get evidence of that. Okay, now. Deficiencies in the inventory system. Look, alright, and very recently also 2017-18. Okay? Now, what is required here? You are to explain the deficiencies followed by recommendation, as we know all the time. Okay? Now, how do you make sure? Go through the scenario line by line. And you have to note down any potential deficiencies. Again, just a reminder, when it comes to listing of deficiencies, of internal control and recommendation, the format should be tabular in nature. Okay? So you need to have the deficiency, the recommendation. The deficiency and the corresponding recommendation. Okay? So if you have a deficiency 1, you give the recommendation matching to it. It cannot be, you have a deficiency and your recommendation on that down here. You understand? It has to match in the same row. Okay? Otherwise, it's very difficult for you to get the full marks. Okay? Because why don't get the full marks? You've got the marker to be upset. Okay? Your thought does not flow. Alright? Remember, the presentation makes a difference. The flow of thought is make a difference. Make the life of the marker easy. Okay? Then they will be nice to you. How do we make the marker, the one marker easy, happy with your paper? Number 1. If your English is correctly in correct grammar, he does not have to be guessing what you want to say. Number 2, okay, if you answer and you highlight certain words, okay, how do you highlight on the computer? You can put it in bold or you can underline it, correct? Okay, so it gives them straight away that yes, you know what you're talking about. Okay, and like this, if you're asking deficiency and recommendation, match it, correct matching. Okay. That's that kind of approach. Okay, inventory, very important. Normally, one of the deficiencies that we talk about is the deficiencies in the inventory count itself. Why? The inventory count, okay, itself answers many internal control tests, and it also gives you audit evidences. So just one procedure gives many evidences already. Okay? So, why is it important again that the year-end balance is correct? What do you think? The reason why? Because? Yes. Which one? First, the balance sheet. Okay? The balance sheet, one of the biggest amounts sometimes in the balance sheet is your inventory amounts. Right? Okay, so it is very important. What else? Where else can you find that? Balance sheet only? P&L. Oh, so if in that case, if it's also in the P&L, it means that your profit may be under or over stated. Okay, so it's very important because it affects the financial statements. Okay, and also, okay, will affect, of course, if your financial position and your income statement, okay, are not properly recorded, does not have the proper record of the inventory amount, it will affect the results, the financial results. Also, it will affect key ratios. 1, they will calculate profitability ratio, return on investment. Okay, it will affect all that, even working capital ratios. Okay, and then, without closing inventory, your cost of sales will not be accurate. Alright? Now, another thing. If inventory, okay, is not reported properly, okay, you will not be able, the company will not be able to know if somebody is doing mismanagement or fraud. Okay? So it's very important that, okay, there is proper control such as inventory counts, physical inventory, segregation of duties, etc. So all that we've talked about earlier. Okay? Alright, good. So these are all tests of controls. Okay? When you come back from the break, we will now talk about substantive procedure. Okay, substantive procedure. Remember, these are tests of controls that we talk about. Okay? So, let's take a break. 15 minutes. Is that okay? Yes? Alright. So, if we finish early, we can leave early. Is it raining outside? Oh my goodness. Okay, not good for us who are going home in a motorcycle. Alright? Yeah. So, let's take a look at substantive tests when we come back. That will be in chapter 3. Okay, cool. See you in a moment. When you say goods are in for the third party, means that the client sells it on online. For example, I am a supplier and I supply Bion supermarkets. Okay? I am your client, you're joining the restaurant. I'm your client. And I have noticed that I put in Bion supermarket on my client. Means it doesn't become sold unless Bion sells it. Okay. So which means that's consignment. Which means that is my inventory as your client. My inventory is with my customer. But it belongs to the so which means in that case, there must be a procedure, the company must make sure that they have a procedure to monitor all of these goods that it should be in. Now, on the other hand, if my supplier, I'm the client owner, puts in goods to me and says, no, you don't buy it unless you use it. Get that? You don't buy it unless you use it. If I use it, then it becomes my inventory. Or it's something that I need to account for. If I don't use it, so it's still physical inventory there, but it doesn't belong to me. So I must make sure it does not form part of my inventory because it still belongs to my supplier. That is excellent. As a consignment, but the other way around. Right? Remember, I supply. Yeah. So that is the one that is I sell to my customer, I should include it. But if it's a consignment to me from a supplier, I should exclude it. Lower cost or lower off in cost and whichever is lower. Okay, so normally in a business, when you buy something and you sell it, the selling price is higher than the cost, right? So, and how do you report your inventory normally? You report it as your purchase cost. So, normally the cost is lower than, right? But if my inventory somehow the NRV or net realizable value, the net selling price, becomes lower than the cost, then I have to be liable. Getting big, yeah. The goods have been damaged by fire, by flood. It's no longer saleable as it's normal. Correct, you send a discount or you send it to a vendor, scrap vendor, right? So the sale price would be very, very low. You're selling it. Or it's obsolete for revenue. So you cannot sell it at normal price. So you sort of very good. So in those cases, if you have such inventory, the company must record their state, their inventory at net realizable loss, which means they have to recognize the loss. So our responsibility is to make sure that they have such a procedure. All of this money either that you stole or lost or so these are their procedures. You need to test. It's the money is the client's job to do. All right, please, you ask your question related to that. All right, thank you. Okay, is everybody back? Alright, let's take a look at procedures. Audit procedures. So what are we looking at here? Okay, so let's look at our learning objectives, because when we look at our learning objectives, it tells us the areas where the auditor or the examiner would like to test us on. Okay? So, remember, we are now in the substantive test area. Okay? What do we want to get? We want evidence in relation to inventory. Okay? So we look at inventory count procedures at year-end, proper cut-off. What do we do when we are in the inventory count? Remember, what did I tell you? The inventory count is very important for us, for a source of two things: test of controls and getting evidences. Okay? Another kind of procedure aside from the inventory count. Sorry. Chapter 13. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Chapter 13. Chapter 13. Kontobong. Yes. Am I correct? Yes. Okay, thank you so much. The intonation correct?
Yes.
Good.
Right.
I'm doing my best, ladies and gentlemen. My best. Alright. Alright, so, are we there? Okay, so remember, we are trying to get evidences in relation to the inventory. So, aside from the inventory counts, we need to look at cut-off. We need to talk about direct confirmation. Okay, with inventory held by third parties. Now, remember that? Okay, so we talked about that earlier. What are the procedures to get evidence that there is correct evaluation? Bless you. There is evidence and any other evidences relating to inventory. So, these are the things that we need to talk about. How do we test for proper cut-off? How do we test inventory count procedures, and what do we do to get more evidences here? And of course, confirmation of inventory with third parties. Okay? And of course, valuation, evidences for valuation. Okay, so remember, we are still here looking at obtaining evidences. Alright? Oh, what happened here? Why intangible? Sorry. This is for non-tangible, non-current assets. Non-current assets. Okay? Why non-current assets? Is inventory a non-current asset? It's not non-current asset, right? This is a wrong. Is it there with you? Yeah. So sorry. This should not be there. Okay? Right? So, sorry. Why is it a non-current asset? Inventory is a current asset, right? Yeah, because it's talking about inventory. Okay, sorry. It should not say non-current asset. Inventory is a current asset. Sorry about that. Okay, that is an error. Okay. Now, what is our audit objective? All right. So inventory is tangible. Agree. Inventory is a current asset. First and foremost, if your assertion means you want to check for existence. Okay? Our objective is we want to find evidence that all purchases and sales of inventories, okay, are recorded, whether the goods are purchased or are sold. Okay? And the inventory valuation in the statement of financial position physically exists. Remember, we are talking about existence. Okay? Now, we are not talking about procedures here. We are talking about the objective of why we're going to get evidence. You understand? Okay. So, we need to get evidences that all purchases and sales have been recorded. Okay? That inventory that is in the financial statement physically exists. For inventory, when we're looking at completeness, it means that any movement is recorded. Okay? That all inventory at year end is included in the balance sheet. Okay? Rights and obligations. That whatever is recorded under inventory, we need to get proof that the company actually owns it. Okay? So which means, if it's consigned to the company, it should not be included there. Okay. Accuracy, valuation, and allocation. We need to look at proof that the cost is still lower than the NRV. Okay. We need to get proof that costs are accurately calculated as per the accounting record, accounting standard. Sorry. Okay. Classification. Inventory is recorded in the proper account. Okay, so we need to get proof that there is proper cut-off. Okay, what are the two documents? GRN and the GBN. Presentation and classification must go into the inventory is in the correct account, and any valuation and any derivation or any disclosure required by IFRS is in the notes of the financial statement. Okay? So these are our objectives. Now we need to find the what? We need to find evidence. First, we look at valuation. Lower of cost and NRV. Okay? So what are you comparing here? Two things you're comparing. Cost versus NRV. Okay? Net realizable value. Okay? Now, when we say cost, it means the purchase cost and other costs that will make the inventory come to the location and its at present condition. Which means it's not only the cost of what the supplier has invoiced you, it may include delivery charges, correct? What else? Okay. How about installation costs? Yes. Okay? So that includes inventory in the cost. Now, NRV. What did I tell you earlier? NRV is the estimated selling price. Now, why do we call it net? Because it may be selling price less any cost to complete it and estimated cost to make it saleable again. Okay? So, you need to that is actually, for example, what does it mean? Let us say, some of my inventory was what? Was in a flood. It was got into a flood, it was damaged. Now, I want to make it be able to be sold again, so I needed to do some repair. Alright? I needed to do some work on the inventory to make it saleable again. Right? So what happens now? What is my NRV? My NRV is the original sell price minus the what? Minus the cost of making those products saleable again. You understand? So any expenses to make it necessary for it to be sold, I must deduct it from my selling price. That is what you call net realizable value. Because you would say, oh, why don't you just say selling price? You understand? Why do I have to say net realizable value? Because really, it's not just the selling price. If you need to make something to make it saleable, then you have to deduct that cost. Okay? So NRV. Now, how do you make sure? Okay? Alright, so you have to, Alright, so you need to test the counts for any, Alright, so now remember, you're getting evidences, alright? So you need now, if you want completeness, to prove completeness, Alright, so first, completeness has to be disclosure. Completeness as to the items in the storerooms. So that would be, you need to test the count, to trace the test counts that you made into the inventory listing. Okay? Where inventory is held, okay, in third-party location, you can either do two things. What can you do if some goods are with a third party of your client? Inspect it yourself. That's one, yes? Okay. So if some goods are with the supermarket, you go at the same day that you're doing a physical count in your client's premises, you also check the items that is with, okay, the third party. Okay. That's one, huh? Or if you cannot do that, what do you do? Okay, so you send a letter to the third party asking them what? That you have to ask them to count at the same day that you are doing your count. You understand? Okay. So the same day you're doing your count in the premises of your client, you ask the person who has some goods of your client to also count. So two things, huh? You can either send people to count yourself or get that third party to do the count for you. Okay? So two things that you can do there. You inspect it, or you can send them a confirmation letters asking them to do the counts themselves and respond to you as the auditor. Okay? Alright, compare the gross profit percentage to the previous year or industry data. That is an analytical procedure. Do you see this last one? Okay. But why gross profit? Why gross profit? Remember, we're talking about inventory. Why gross profit? Yeah, because the inventory is in your cost of sales, correct? So if your gross profit is within the range as per your budget or last year, so it means that there's not much of an anomaly, you understand? Or it's within the industry data. So which means the way that you value and record your inventory is complete. Yeah? Okay, so it's a good relationship. How about testing for existence? What did I say? Observe the physical inventory count. Okay? So that is, of course, that's the only thing. You want to see if it exists, go and see it for yourself. Okay? Now let's look at the point. When you test an inventory count, when you go and observe an inventory count, what are the things you're going to look for? Okay? So wait, we'll talk about that in a few slides from here. Okay? Now, how about to test rights and obligations? What should I do? Okay? So any inventory held for third parties, now remember, you don't have the right to this inventory. Again, inventory held, not in third party, but for third parties. Again, there's two different differentiations. Inventory held by or in third party is what? Does the inventory belong to you? Again. Listen to me. There's a difference between inventory held in third party or by third party and inventory held for third party. Yes? Okay. So there are two different things. Tell me which one belongs to your client. Inventory held by third party.
Yes.
Belongs to your client?
Yes.
Inventory held for third party. No, that's not belong to you. That is why we said procedure to test rights and obligations. Do you have the right for inventory that is you hold for third party? You don't have the right, right? Which means, do you include it in the inventory? No. So what do? You make sure that you verify any of these inventory that is held in third party should not be included in the inventory. How do you verify? You observe during the count, the list of items that is held by your client for third party should be accounted separately and should not be included in the final value of your inventory. Do you understand? Okay. So as an auditor, you should observe and verify that these are not included. You understand? Okay. Now, remember, it's not you who's supposed to do that. You're observing that the client segregates them. Okay? Because we're talking about rights here. Okay? Any bill and hold inventory. What's that? Bill and hold. In another word, this is something else, correct? The item has been sold by the entity, but the customer says, don't deliver it to me. Deliver it to me when I need it. So, bill and hold. Bill means you invoice, correct? But you still keep the goods in there. You don't dispatch it. Who does the goods belong to? Your client or his customer? Customer. Should you include it in the inventory? No. Again, for any of that, you as an auditor must ensure that there is a separate listing in your inventory count for bill and hold. Bill and hold should be what? What's it say? What is the word? Not included in the inventory. Okay, so it's not. You agree it's not? Okay, I will repeat. Bill and hold. Your client sold to his customer. The customer says, okay, invoice me, but do not ship. Ship only when I need it, because I don't have space in my warehouse. So, which means during the count, you have some physical goods there, right? Yeah? So, what happens? When they do the count, it should be accounted for, but should be counted, but should not be in the cost of inventory of your client, because it no longer belongs to your client. You have invoiced it already. Do you understand? No, not you. The client has invoiced it, so it should not be part of the inventory. Everybody agree there? Okay. So verify that procedure, that segregation is done. Okay. All right. This time, inventory held at third party. Whose inventory is that? Your client. Should it include in the inventory? Yes. How do you confirm? So what did I say earlier? You confirm by, okay, again, the confirmation letter can be checked or you verify yourself, correct? Loan agreements, board meetings, evidencing if inventory has been pledged or assigned. Okay? So again, this has to be noted in your disclosure. Because remember, if it's already been pledged or assigned, what happens? Does it still belong to you? Okay? It's very rare for us to see this pledging of inventory, especially if it's something in relation to loans, correct? Okay. So these things, loan agreements means that part of, it's kind of like, what do you call that? A collateral or a security. It's not a land or a property, but it's the inventory that is being put in as a collateral. Okay. So it may still belong to you, but there is a disclosure that needs to be done because it is not a saleable good or could be taken out, okay, altogether. Right? Inquire of management about any warranty obligations, okay, especially if you have inventory items that are electronic in nature. Alright, so that is only for later on when we talk about liability. Alright, audit procedure for testing accuracy, valuation, and allocation. Again, okay? Inventory listing and agree them with the general ledger. Where do we get the inventory listing? Copy of the inventory list. Okay? Normally, the one that you get from a copy of the final listing as per the count. Yeah, you can agree them with the total. Cast the inventory list and ensure it's mathematically correct. Okay? Because remember, the inventory list is another piece of paper that came out from the system. So you need to verify totals. Always verify. Because you don't know what is in there, if that list is actually making sense. Alright? Take a sample of inventory items. Now remember, you are testing accuracy and valuation, right? So how do you get to test accuracy and valuation? What's the valuation again? Lower of cost or MRP. So the first thing is cost. How do I verify cost? Yes, the purchase invoice. So you take a sample of the items that has been bought and take a sample of the supplier's invoice and see if the value that is recorded is correct in the books or in the records, okay? Where standard costing is used, get a test a certain number of inventory and see if the standard costing they apply makes sense, okay? Review that calculation. Now, okay? For materials, agree the value of the materials to invoices or price list of the supplier. Because if it's a what we call regular supplier, your client will have a price list from the supplier. Okay? Confirm the basis of valuation. Now, what is this? When materials move from the storeroom, do you remember first in, first out? Last in, first out? Okay? So, remember the valuation of your record will be the value of what is in the inventory account. Yes? So you need to look at if they use the proper valuation. Okay? Remember, IFRS do not accept what? Last in, first out. So if they're using last in, first out, they must have to redo their system. Okay? Because it has to be first in, first out, or weighted average. Okay? Confirm the basis with management on how what methods they're going to use in the valuation. Okay, what else? Alright. Now, why do I need to include labor costs in my evaluation? Why do I need to review labor costs? Okay? All labor-related information. Why? I'm talking about inventory. Why am I talking about verifying labor costs in any variances? Why? What did I tell you? In a manufacturing entity, work in progress. Yes? Work in progress, finished goods. Those include labor costs, not only material costs, correct? Labor cost, calculation of OAR, correct? Okay. So you have to verify labor cost, especially if you have work in progress. Okay? Also, asset procedure, you need to ask management how do they account for slow-moving and obsolete inventories. Obsolete. Okay? And how is the process of writing them down? Because it is the job of management to actually write down slow-moving, obsolete, deteriorated, discontinued items, okay, of inventories. Alright. Now, what am I trying to see here in this last one? What am I trying to prove? It's about the finished goods. It says, examine the prices at which the finished goods have been sold after the year end. Why? Why do I need to do that? What is the purpose? Remember, I'm talking about valuation, right? What's the proof? Prices of finished goods that have been sold after the year end. Means what? I'm looking at the NRV, correct? Yes? So which means if the items have been sold at a selling price lower than cost after the year end, what does it mean? After the year end, these items should have been what? Recorded at what value? Cost or NRV? NRV. You understand? So, I need to find proof that the cost is still lower than NRV. How do I find proof? Look how much they sold it after the year end. Yeah? Make sense? Then if that is the case, then the finished goods need to be written down to its NRV, not cost. From cost to NRV, lower off, right? If significant levels of finished goods remain unsold for an unusual period of time, you have to discuss with management whether you need to make an allowance or write down in terms of slow moving. Yeah? Slow moving. Again, you discuss it with management. Okay? Maybe they have some plans to do something else about it. Okay? Now, next procedure, steel allocation. Compare gross profit percentage to previous year or the industry data. Again, analytical procedure. Another analytical procedure, compare raw material, finished goods, and total inventory turnover to previous year or industry average. So you're looking at comparing key ratios. Okay? What is inventory days? What do you mean by inventory days? This is a ratio. It's a financial ratio. It counts how many days of inventory you have in the warehouse, correct? Okay. So at the end, you have to compare that with previous year. Is it the same number of days? Is it, in other words, the same valuation that you keep every year? Okay, so means that you have a correct valuation. Okay, it's a plausible valuation. Compare current year standard cost with previous year. Again, comparison. Okay. Analysis of the cost of your inventory. Compare actual overhead versus budgeted overhead. You remember earlier what did I tell you? Not only the material cost, the labor cost, but also the overhead cost, because you have a work in progress account and a finished goods account. Good? Okay. Okay, any questions so far? No? No? Okay, can we continue? That's done? Alright, no, okay. Alright. More on the valuation. Okay? Take a copy of the inventory listing, cast it, and test mathematical extension of quantity multiplied by the cost or the price. Yeah? Still, okay, remember, we're looking at accuracy, valuation, and allocation. Okay. Trace the test counts back to the inventory listing. Remember, you tested some counts, right? Okay. So you reperform some counts. So you need to check it against the listing. Okay. Now, if the entity, your client, adjusted the general ledger to agree the physical count amount, try to agree this. Because remember, when the inventory count is done, your client may adjust their records to match the physical count, correct? So what is your job? Your job is to follow through and see if the amounts have agreed between the physical count and what is in the general ledger. Okay? So if that adjustment has been made. Alright? Now, where there is a perpetual inventory, okay, and the company uses a lot of computers, what happens? Agree the total against the inventory records. If you have a computerized inventory system, that's where your CAAT comes into the picture. Remember your CAAT? Okay. Let's say your client has a lot of inventory items. And that is why they actually keep computerized records. Yeah? So the CAAT can do that checking for you. Agree the total in the listing and against the inventory system that is maintained by the computer system. Okay. Now, what else? Read the notes to the financial statements to ensure that any information that is disclosed or amounts are correct or appropriate as per IFRS. Okay? Cut off. Oh, this is easy. Yeah? Okay? Now, who is supposed to do the cut off? Proper cut off? The auditor or the client? Remember, the proper cut off is a internal control, right? We've seen that earlier. So what is your job? What is your job? Okay? Numbers, so you can redo. You can recheck yourself, correct? Okay? But the original work of doing that is not yours. That is an internal control. Okay? That is done by the client. Okay? All you need to do is review if it's done. Okay? Or you can actually get the numbers yourself and double check if actually there's a proper cutoff. Okay? In other words, you can re-perform. Okay, the cut-off procedure. Okay, how about classification? Okay, proper classification between raw materials, work in progress, and finished goods. Okay, you have to review that listing, okay, given by the client. And then you need to look at and see any description of this kind of inventory has been properly stated by the client. Okay, it's very simple. Alright. Now, let's talk about physical inventory count. Very important for us. Okay? Because this both helps us test controls at the same time get substantive procedure. Okay? Now, alright, so the inventory count provides evidence for both existence and condition of the inventory. So, if the inventory is material, what does it mean? It means it's significant in amount. Okay? You need to look at management instructions. Instruction for what? Management instruction for what? It says evaluate management instruction. Instruction for what? Yes, management instruction in terms of how to do the inventory count, correct? Okay. Now, because the client is the one to do the count. They are the ones to give instructions to their people to do the count. Okay? So, we need to see if the instructions are adequate. Okay? Now, so we have to have an idea of their count procedures. During the day of the count, we are to observe if these instructions are followed. That's right? Because then you're testing if their process of internal control is executed correctly. Executed correctly. Alright. Now, can you inspect the inventory at the same time? What said yes. Okay? So you can select a sample from the count sheet and say, okay, I'm going to recount this. Okay? Then you will also look at obsolete items and see what they're doing with it, or any item you think seems to be deteriorated, so you have to see what the inventory count teams are doing with it. Okay? So you are doing your own testing. Okay? Now, How do inventory counts happen? It can happen once at the end of a year. Okay? Or it can be done before or after the year end. And we said already before, can you do before the year end? Especially if, what did we say? Yes, they have a very strong internal control procedures, correct? Okay. When does inventory count happen after the year end? The same thing is if they are strong, correct? So it doesn't, you can work back. Okay? If they have a very strong control, which means you can rely on their perpetual inventory. So even if you count, for example, 1 month after the year end, you can rely on their records to work back. One is out, you add back. One is in, you minus. So you go back to the amount that is as per the year end. Okay? Okay, so continuous inventory count. What is that? Continuous inventory count. Anybody explain that? That's different from the periodic count, which is the physical count at year end. Continuous, what happens in a continuous count? It's continuous. It means that you don't do the inventory count once at the end of the year. It means that every month, for example, in the year, you do a count, but not of all the items, you understand? Okay. Why? When you do a count at the year end, you have to stop the operations. There are no production, no sale, no purchases, no deliveries, nothing, right? Stop. There are companies who cannot stop even for a day. Yeah, because their business is crucial or is significant or is a need. So what happens to this? For example, they provide food, they provide something, right? Okay. So what do they do? For example, hospitals. Can you tell the hospitals, no! They say, no in, no out. Okay, that's it, huh? Okay. We cannot dispense materials today. No medicines today. Huh? Can happen, no? Okay. So what happens here? What you need to do is do a continuous count. Means that I will take all my inventory and divide it into 12 groups. So I will say, January, I will count these 10 items. Okay? 1 to 10. And then check against the record. February, 11 to 20. Okay? Item, inventory 11 to inventory 20. Okay? And check against the records. 21 to 30 in March. Now, when it finishes at the end of December, what do they do in January, what do they do? Start again from the beginning. You understand? So it's continuous. So all the time they're checking their actual versus record. Actual versus record. Actual versus record. Okay. Continuously. Alright. So if it's a perpetual inventory, what should we do? Okay? We must ensure, number 1, all items are counted at least once in a year. Remember, it's a continuous, right? All of the items must be counted at least once a year. One whole cycle. Can it be twice a year if the cycle finishes? Yeah, it can be getting in, right? So at least once a year. Okay? And it's important in a continuous inventory that there is a correct record, because remember, you count part by part. Yes? So count, check against inventory. Count, check against the record. Count, check against the record. So your record must be in order, not yours. The client. Okay? The client's record must be in order. Got it? Because we always check against that. Okay? Alright, keep verifying. Alright, now, of course, you would actually test some of the procedures they do when they do the count. Can you and investigate any material differences? So you can review their count sheets. Okay? When they did the count, review what did they do if there was any material deficiency or discrepancy. Sorry, not deficiency. With discrepancy. What is a discrepancy? Different, correct. From what and what? The listing and account, the record and account, the record and account. There is a material difference, material discrepancy that needs to be investigated. Okay? Alright. Now, whatever count that you attend as an auditor, there are things that you should do before the count, during the count, and after the count. Okay? So what do you do before the count? What do you think is the first one? Although it's in your notes, but what do you do before the count? I mentioned it already earlier. What do you need to do before you go and attend the count? You need to understand the what? Okay. One thing is, if you are the previous auditor, you can have this is cheating actually. You're looking at, what did the previous auditor do? Okay, so what? Because in the previous audit file, they will have a note of what happened last year, correct? So you have an idea, for example, what kind of inventory. Anyway, you know your client now. You know what kind of inventory. What are the things that your previous auditor had discovered? Okay? That gives you an idea where are the risky areas. For example, the previous auditor said they do not have the proper countings. Okay? So you know what you're going to look for in this new audit now. They have not accounted for blah blah blah. So there are notes, correct? So you need to review that to see if there are areas that will become high risk to you in terms of your observation of the count. Okay? So you already know where are the risky areas, so you have to pay attention to those areas. Okay? What else? You need to get management to tell you what are the instructions. Right? What are the instructions they give to the teams? Instructions, how many teams? Where will the team come, the people come from? Who are the people who is going to be part of the count teams, right? Is it important for me to know that? Yes? Why? Why am I needing to know who are the count teams? The integration. Remember, what is this process of counting? This process out of the four, this is now the fourth one, which is what? Review and reconciliation, correct? Yeah? So, whoever authorizes inventory should not reconcile. Whoever records should not reconcile. Whoever has custody should not reconcile. So, who is that? The manager of the warehouse cannot be in the count team. The storeman cannot be in the count team. Who else? The stock ledger clerk should not be in the count team. You got it? Because now you are reconciling, not you, I mean another set of people is reconciling. Okay? So, arrangements. Now, what did I tell you earlier? When you actually do and have all these, you will actually look at key factors such as risk areas. It will tell you where are their material items, what are the items that are material. Okay? How many warehouses they have? Yeah? Where are the locations of these items or these warehouses? Okay? So, your count instructions, the arrangement, the instructions given to the count teams, you must review them. Okay? How many teams? Where are they going to start counting from? Is there a notification if the count is already done on an item? Understand? Instruction on how to fill up the inventory count sheet. What is the inventory count sheet looking like? Okay? The inventory count sheet should it have already the code number, the description of the item, the bin number, and the quantity? Again, I will repeat. The counting, the ones counting the physical asset, should they have a paper with them? Yes. That paper has the items of the inventory number and the location, yeah, the description, important, right? And quantity. The quantity is the record. Why not? It's nice to be there, right? Correct? Yes, agree with you. It should not have any quantity because it's leading the count. You understand? What is the whole idea of the count? The count is to check the physical quantity, right? What happens if you have a number there? It will actually be leading the counter because, for example, the count says, the item says there are 100 pieces, correct? And they physically count 1, 2, 3, 4, 99. Yeah, you have to have it to be 99. So the team says 99, 100. The other one says the partner, because it's usually 2 people, right? Yeah. The partner says, let's count again. This other one says, because don't count. We have so many things to do. Let's just, what's the set there? 100. This is 99. Maybe we just count, it's not counted. Go, move on to the next. You understand? Can that happen? Yes. Especially if they have to count many things, right? That one item says, it says 100. Maybe it's 100. We just counted wrongly. Okay? But if you don't put any number, they're forced to actually write 99 or they want to recount again if they're not sure. You understand? Okay? So normally, it should not have any amount or any quantity. You understand? Okay? What else is the instruction? Should they use a pencil? It's good to be a pencil, so it's very neat. We can erase if it's something wrong, right? No. Should be ink. Not the erasable ink. You have an erasable ink down. Alright? So the one that cannot be erased easily. Yeah? Okay. By the way, the count sheet should be control number, the count sheet. Yes? The count sheet has, every page has a control number, yeah? Okay? Because you don't want any of these pages missing. Remember, it should match with the record. Okay? The valuation depends on the actual count. Okay? Alright. How many teams? How many people in a team? At least 2, right? Okay, at least 2. And how many teams? Means that one team will count all the items. Then, do we have another team to recount? Yes or no? Okay? Normally, it's advisable to be more than one team. Okay? Because that verifies if the first team has counted it correctly. So, what happens? 2 teams. One team counts everything, correct? The other team counts it again. Then what do? You reconcile the 2 teams. You understand? Any discrepancy will require a third recount. You got it? Okay? Because of course, maybe the first team, again as I told you, counted it, made a mistake, correct? Okay? So it can be actually second one going and checking a third one. If there's discrepancy between the 2, it will be recounted the third time. Okay? For the items. Before it's reconciled with the record. So these are some of the things that you would actually do. Okay? Now, alright? Plan procedures. Who's planning procedures here? Who is this? The entity or you as the auditor? This is your job, your auditor. You have to plan your own. You understand? The entity has given the instructions for their plan. What is your plan? Now you know that the entity has 2 teams. So you need to have an auditor for the 2 teams, correct? One for team A and one for team B. So you have to do your own plan. Okay? What are your plans? How many people will be there? Okay? What items would you recount? What would you do with inventory held by third parties? Remember, you have to send a letter. Or you have to send somebody to count over there, correct? And, what did we say earlier? Sometimes you need an expert, correct? Okay, when it comes to inventory, right? Okay. Alright, so you need to do this planning as well from your side. This is before the count, huh? Alright, how about during the count? What's your responsibility during the count. During the count, what do you think you should do? Be absent for the day. Yes? No, of course not. Inventory count is the most fun part of being an auditor. Do you know that? Yeah. It's like an excursion. Yeah? Alright. Okay, so, yeah, because this is the only time in your auditor's life you are not looking at a piece of paper or an invoice or yeah, correct? Yeah? This is the only time you go out to a warehouse, different from the accounting office. Okay? This is the only time you can actually have a physical encounter with your client's goods and products. Okay? So this is fun. Don't be absent during physical observation of counts. So during counts, okay, you are to observe if the staff is following the instructions that you have obtained at the beginning or before the count. Okay? Right? So that will make sure that the count is complete and the count is accurate. Okay. Number 2. Okay, you said already. Perform test counts. Okay. Alright, so you have already identified which items are to be recounted by you based on your preparation. Okay? Why do you test recounts? Do your own counting? Okay? To ensure that, number 1, that's a way to test controls, right? Number 2, it also gives you evidence of existence and completeness. Now, you have to be mindful of any damage, obsolete, and slow moving. How? That is why you are there to observe. Yes? Okay. You are to see yourself the condition of the inventory. So if you see something that you have to ask questions, is this item really looking yellowish? Okay? Is it really like this? Okay? Because of course there are some items you might not know about, correct? So is this really green or is it just turned green because it's been here for the longest time? You understand? So you need to ask. Okay? You have to observe. Okay? To be able to identify those. And of course, you need to observe, how do they record such items? Okay? You need to look at the process. Right? And remember, during that day, is the same time you need to ask the third parties to actually confirm if the inventory is held in their premises. Now, you probably have sent the letter before this day, but on this day, you have to get the confirmation from that third party. That's the same day that you do the count. Does everybody understand? Yeah, so remember, not only physically what is in there, but what is with a third party. Okay? What else during the count? Okay? So at the end of the process, you need to make a conclusion whether the count was done correctly and you can rely on the results. Okay? Now, any amendments, okay, or anything that you need to know, should you do any additional audit procedure? Okay? To see, of course, and make a judgment if the count was done correctly, and therefore you can rely on the valuation after the count has been done. Okay? Clear? Now, do you have a job after the count? Yes, let's finish just after the count, and then we can go home, correct? After this is after we need to go home, right? Okay. After the count, what do you think happens? We go have a party. For sure. Definitely. Now. Yeah. You have a party with accounting team, isn't it? Okay. It's true, right? No. After the count, you have to have a good massage because you're very tired. You know why? You've been used to just handling documents. Now when you do a physical count, you go up the stairs, go down the stairs, you climb the inventory, you recount boxes, you open boxes. It's fun, but it's tiring. So you need a massage. That's after the count. Yeah? Alright, so what happens now? Okay? Now, remember, you have inventory sheets, correct? Okay? So, not you, it's the client, right? So what you need to do is test, okay? Okay? The items you should test counted, okay? You must make sure it's actually test, you match it in the inventory count sheets, okay? What do you need to do? All the inventory count sheets, okay, have been, accounted for, okay, and included in the inventory. All that you counted is there. Inspect the inventory, final inventory sheets to make sure that, okay, it is in the count records. Now, should there be any discrepancies, any adjustment has been done, okay, any discrepancies have been investigated, okay. So you need to actually review the reconciliation and inspect that proper reconciliation is done between the count sheets and the records, okay, that's the general record, okay. Of course, after the count, you verify the cut-off. Because during the count, you have verified what is the last GRN and the last GBN, correct? During the count, huh? So after the count, you have to verify with the records. The GBN, you have to verify with the dispatch or the sales day book, okay? And the GRN with the purchases day book. You understand? So you need to know that the last GRN is the last in, and the last GBN is the last out for that period, okay, during the count. And of course, during the count, you need to make sure that there are no movements, otherwise everything is wasted. Okay? Doesn't make sense anymore. Okay? After the count, you remember, the third party has given you already during the day of the count, correct? So this is the time you review the reply against and match them with the record that says these goods are with the third party. You understand? Okay. This is after is the reconciliation. Okay? Alright, so finally confirm that the client's final inventory is correctly calculated. So you can see if the valuation is correct. Okay? Now, if there are any problems, or questions, you may need to list them down for further discussions with management. Okay, so inventory held by third parties, what did we say? What do you do? We said you either two things, you said, right? Inventory held by third parties. So it's either two things. You go inspect it yourself, or you send a letter asking them to confirm. What do you call that? It's called direct confirmation. Sending a letter for them to send you the information. Okay? Or, you may attend, or you can arrange somebody to attend the inventory count for you. Okay? Now, if another auditor, you ask them to go and test or count, then the report has to be matched with the records of your client. Okay? Inspect documentation in respect to the third-party inventory. Why? Your client must have a record how much inventory is with the third party, correct? Okay? So you need to verify that with the count. Okay? Confirmation from other parties when inventory has been pledged as a collateral. Remember I told you about loan agreements? Yeah? So if some of the referees are in the loan agreement, then we need to get confirmation. Okay. It could be part of the bank confirmation. Okay? Alright. Cut off. But now we have to cut off ourselves. Okay? Alright. So when we come back, yes, October 6th, something like that, correct? Yeah? Oh, far away, because you want to have a holiday, Okay. Remember, I told you, what did I tell you? I told you to bring your notes, preferably, correct? If you don't bring your notes, I make sure that you have Google Class. Okay? So you can take a look at that. Review some of those that we said that you need to remember. Okay? Look at some, Look at some revision kit questions. You understand? Revision kit questions. Now, of course, it's your holiday, but if you spend at least 30 minutes to an hour every day to touch base. Otherwise, you forget all of them. When you come back, we start again from the beginning. All right? So continuously, okay, just spend a bit of time. It will be very beneficial for you. You understand? Okay? So everybody have a nice holiday. Enjoy the time with your family. I know some of you is the first time you go back to your hometown. So, but make sure you drive carefully. I heard so many news. Drive carefully and be careful. Have a nice holiday, everybody. Okay? Bye. Have you?
Mình AT. Dạ. Dạ.
Big? Yeah? Am I smaller?
Swell.
Huh?
Go swell. You swell.
Small?
Good.
Yeah?
Okay.
And now,
Do it. Do it.
do it, no?
But
Big word, big word. Now it's smaller.
I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. Do it.
You good? You good? Good job. Big. Bye, Pete.
Right.
Senyumnya, cupnya, dengan ini.
Cuknya.
Cupnya.
Cuknya.
Mana?
Ya. Nice eyes.
Senyumnya, cupnya, senyum, senyumnya, cupnya,
Nice eyes.
dengan
Con là giá cuknya. Nice eyes.
dengan sorry, say it again.
Con là giá cuknya. Nice eyes.
Sinoja,
Con là giá
Sonija,
cuknya. Cuknya.
Junub, Kinian,
Nice